What you decide to prioritize in your life is going to determine what you produce in your life. And that's what we're going to be talking about in today's conversation. So let's do it. Welcome to the Dream Lifestyle Podcast, where the goal is to help you craft your dream lifestyle by becoming the best version of yourself. And today we're talking about priorities. And the truth is, what you prioritize will dictate what you produce in your life. Because your priorities will determine your decision making, which will ultimately lead to how you manage your time. And so we're going to fully break this down. But when it comes to our priorities, we first have to establish that there's no such thing as balance. And when I say balance, I'm talking about externally, to the external world. Okay. The roles and responsibilities that you have in your life are not the same. There is a pecking order based on what's important to you, depending on the season in life that you're in. But because of that, and there's this idea that, there is supposed to be balance externally, we almost feel overwhelmed when it comes to our decision making because we have not set clear boundaries. We have not set a clear priority list for the roles and responsibilities that we fill. So when it comes to balance, though, balance can only exist internally. But your balance is determined by your ability to prioritize your external world. So when it comes to what you do, when it comes to the roles and responsibilities that you have in your life, be very clear. You need to have a priority list, because when you are able to properly prioritize what's important to you, depending on the season that you're in, you're going to find yourself making much better decisions. And when it comes to the things that are important to us, when it comes to the roles and responsibilities that we play, because there's no such thing as balance, we do need to take the time to prioritize, hey, this area of my life is more important than this area. Both are important. But when it comes to what I'm trying to accomplish, when it comes to my bigger picture, so to speak, when it comes to the goals that I have, I need to be clear that for the next 6 months, for the next year, for all my life, whatever area you're weighing against, whatever is competing, you want to be clear, hey, this is my priority list. And so what this can look like is you taking the time to just list out, here are all the roles and responsibilities. Here are all the titles that I have in my life, right? And that can deal with your finances, your family, your career, your physical health, whatever it is. But every area of your life, just simply listing it out and then taking the time to simply prioritize, you know what? I put my finances over my physical health. I put my career over my friendships. I put my family above all, whatever properly works for you. And what's so beautiful about a priority list is that it can change whenever you want, because depending on the season that you're in, you may want different fruit. And so, like I said at the beginning, if you want to produce a certain fruit, that means that there are certain things you're going to need to prioritize. And in your prioritization, you're going to make decisions that will ultimately lead to those things that you want to produce. So what does this look like? If you are somebody and you're saying, you know what, I want to get my finances in order. My money's a mess. Yes, I love my family. Yes, I love my job. Yes, I love my friends. But my money right now needs to get in order. Well, now you are basically moving your financial health to the top of the priority list. And when you move your financial health to the top of your priority list, you then should make decisions based on your priority list, not how you're feeling. So when you're making decisions based on your priority list, you will have peace. When you're making decisions based off your priority list, you're going to be able to properly communicate. And when you have peace and you're properly able to communicate, one, you'll be able to identify the right people that are around you, because they will understand, because you're going to communicate it well, because it's at the top of your priority list. But two, internally, you will achieve peace, which is that balance that we talked about earlier. Because making decisions where you're weighing it against things that are important to you and two things that are important to you, as opposed to one thing super important to me and the other thing really isn't, that's an easy decision. When you're weighing decisions between the stuff that's important to you and the things that don't matter to you, that's easy. But what do you do when you're weighing decisions between things that are both very important to you? When you're prioritizing your physical health, but you also really prioritize your friendships. When you're prioritizing your family, but you also really prioritize work. What do you do in those situations? The priority list is the solution to those instances. So when you take the time to lay out your pecking order of your priorities, your decision making should follow that. And like I said, it can change at any time. So if you're in the position where, you know what, I need to prioritize my finances right now, you're going to find yourself making the decision to say no more often, because you know that will help your finances. And if your friends ask, or anybody else that may be a part of your financial health, you know, that may be affecting where you spend money and things of that nature, you'll be able to easily communicate, hey, right now I'm prioritizing my finances. Please understand, it's not no indictment. I'd love to hang out, but I really got to save money. And if they're really friends, they'll get creative, right? We don't have to go out, whatever the case may be, but you're able to simply operate from your priority list rather than your emotions. Because in the moment, it may feel great to say, oh yeah, no, let's go out to eat. It's no big deal. I'll push that off later. And that's where a lot of people live, because they say one thing, but they're doing another. They say, I want to improve my career. They say, I want to advance my career. They say these things, but their decisions don't really line up with that. They say, well, yeah, I really want to get the promotion. Yes, I really want to get the raise and everything like that, but they don't put in extra time at the office. They don't make the decision to turn on their Zoom cameras. They don't make the decision to simply just go above and beyond, whatever that may look like. But that truly is a result of not matching your actions to your priority list. So wherever you are, if you've taken the time to determine your priority list, make sure that your actions actually match your priority list, because it will be, you'll end up confusing yourself without needing to, because the two don't match. It gets really frustrating. So in that, once you take the time to determine your priority list and you determine these are what's important to me, pecking order, the whole nine, and you match your decisions, now you'll be easily be able to figure out, how do I need to manage my time? And time management is one of those things that a lot of people struggle with. So it's a real thing, right? Time management is not, a situation where just some people get and some people don't. The truth is, your time management can be improved once you determine your priority list and you make the right decisions, because your time management is just your decisions. It's decision making. It's decision making at its finest. And so even in that, right, it's not a full function of time, because there are different areas of your life that you can't necessarily dedicate all the time to it, right? You can't spend all your time hanging out with family. You can't spend all your time hanging out with friends. You can't spend all your time in the gym. But with a priority list, you now are not only able to take full advantage of the quantity of time, but you can also look at the quality of the time. Because when you look at the quality of time, if you're somebody that says, you know what, I'm focusing on my fitness this year, I want to really prioritize my physical health. But because of my work schedule, because we all have real roles and responsibilities, because of my work schedule, I'm only able to do 30 minutes every day. That's my time slot. But because you've prioritized your physical health, you're now able to say, you know what, even though I only have 30 minutes, what can I do in those 30 minutes that will produce the outcome of better physical health? And again, with that, you're able to just simply have inner peace, because you're like just accepting the reality of, okay, I only got 30 minutes, but this is something that's important to me. And honestly, the underlying foundation of our priorities conversation is you really need to know what you want and why you want it. But in that, your time management is going to improve so much just because you've created a priority list, and your decision making will be from your priority list rather than your emotions. I'll tell you guys a story. When I was younger, I was in high school, and I was really determined to make UVA's basketball team. I was determined. Like, this was a top priority to me. I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I knew why I wanted it, and I was not going to let anything stop me from accomplishing this goal. Now, again, it was something that other people might not have cared about. It's cool, to each his own. But to me, it was a priority for me to make that team. So when I actually got on grounds at UVA, it was a situation where I didn't have relationships. I didn't have, anyone. I didn't know anybody. Nobody knew me. But because it was on my priority list, I made sure that my decision making aligned with my priority list. So I was in the gym every single day, not even being a part of the team. I would go right over to the rec center, get my workout in after class, wake up, go play pickup. Like, I was making decisions based off of my priority list because it was my goal to be a part of this team. As crazy as it sounded, as crazy as it seemed, I didn't care because it was my priority. Looking for accountability, you need to check out the Dream Society. For $20 a month, you can join a community that will give you the support that you need and the accountability that you need to hit your goals every single week. And for $20 a month, it is the best investment that you will ever make in yourself. So I want you to go to dreamsociety.info right now to join, and let's get back to the episode. But I had peace because, you know what? I knew that the decisions that I was making were important to me. They were aligned with my priority list. And because I made that decision, in terms of laying out my pecking order of priorities, when it did come down to making decisions, it was easy. It was, okay, is this going to push me is this in line with my priority list or not? And from there, yes, I was met with a lot of difficult things. And even as an athlete, even after I made the team, there's still a lot of conflicts when it comes to the things that are important to you, because you don't really spend much time with family. You don't really spend much time with friends outside of your teammates. You don't really have much time to yourself just because you're always working out. You're always lifting. And if you're not doing either one of those two things, you're probably sleeping, right? Because it's just so time demanding. But when you think about, and for me, it was a priority that I did well in this area of my life. It was a priority that, I was a part of this team. It was a priority that I contributed and everything like that. And because of that, the decision making was super easy. It was super easy because I knew, you know what? I may feel bad because I'm not going home for Christmas. I may feel bad because I may not be there for every family moment or be able to really hang out for all the, the fun stuff, missing the cool parties and everything like that. But I have peace because I know that for this current season in my life, that I'm fulfilling what's super important to me because I established it, not just because of what feels good because I saw it on people having fun on Instagram. And so let me even bring the scope out on that example, even with how I treat my 20s versus how other people treat their 20s. For me, 20s are for building. My 20s are for building. I'd rather take this time to build something incredible so that way I can chill in my 40s and 50s, as opposed to I'm using my 20s for fun and then I'm on an even playing field with everybody. And again, this isn't about right or wrong. That's not the point. When you're prioritizing, it's not about right or wrong, because all of us have the ability to change our priority list to produce certain outcomes in our life. But for me, I've made the conscious decision to prioritize building during this stage of my life. And so because of that, when it comes to my decision making, when it comes to when I'm invited on trips, when it comes to when I'm invited to go on extravagant dinners and excursions and all these different types of things, because I know that I'm in building, I make sure that my decision making is in line with my priority list. And it also makes me super effective with the way in which I manage my time. And I make sure that even in my time, because at the end of the day, I only have 24 hours a day. I'm not superhuman. I just make sure that I have a priority list. So that way, when I do encounter these decisions, when I do encounter conflict between two things that are super important to me, I also am super clear and aware of, okay, here's how I maybe need to manage my time effectively. So that way I can fulfill my priority list. Have you heard about the Dreamer Symposium? It's your space for goal setting, goal planning, and goal execution. This experience will allow you to go to the next level in your life. All you have to do is go get a discounted early bird ticket right now. Just go visit dreamersymposium.com to get your discounted early bird ticket. I look forward to seeing you there. There's limited number of spots, so don't wait. Get your ticket and let's get back to the episode. Because again, and it changes all the time, but it changes because I want it to. My priority list is going to change just because I choose for it to. Your priority list should change only because you choose for it to. Your priority list should not change based off of what somebody else wants for your life, because at the end of the day, you decide what you want to produce in your life. If you decide that you want more money, well, then prioritize financial decisions on your priority list. If you decide you want better relationships in your life, well, then prioritize hanging out with friends, prioritize connecting with more people, whatever it looks like for you. If you are prioritizing your job or your business or your brand, whatever you're doing, make sure that that reflects in your priority list and it reflects in your decisions. Don't just say that you want to produce these certain types of results in your life, but you actually aren't having the actions to match it, because then that's just talking. But when you set a real priority list for yourself, when you get really honest about, hey, this is what I want to produce in my life, then only then will your time reflect it, and where you spend your time will really dictate and really show and indicate and reflect what's important to you. But when you actually make the decision to say, this is what's important to me, here's why it's important to me, I'm going to make decisions based off of it, and I'm going to structure my time, both quantity and quality, in a way that will allow me to get the result that I'm looking for. And then before you know it, when you really stack those decisions up together and say, wow, you're going to look back. Like I promise you're going to look back and say, wow, I've accomplished so much because I decided to make decisions from my priority list as opposed to making decisions from my feelings. And a lot of people miss this step. So many people miss this step because they don't take the time. They don't take the time to say and prioritize themselves. They don't take the time to prioritize and say, you know what, there's an area in my life that I want to improve. I just need to prioritize it. I need to identify it. And then I need to structure my decisions around improving it. And I'm telling you, whatever area in your life that you're like, you know what, yes, I've been doing great at my job, but my physical health, it needs to improve. Yeah, I've been doing really great with family, but when it comes to my job, I don't really have the job I want. You have to make the decision to change your priority list, because if you want to produce a certain outcome, you need to start with your priority list. And you know, it's one of those things that, again, like I said earlier, how when you set your priority list, you'll easily be able to communicate. You'll not only be able to communicate well to other people, but with your priority list, you'll easily be able to communicate with yourself. And in your really good communication with yourself, you're going to find yourself building confidence, because as you make consistent decisions, you're going to be building trust with yourself. But it all stemmed from taking the time to create a priority list. And I'm telling you, write it out. Write out all the roles and responsibilities that you fill. Rank them. Rank them. Then you can even take the time to write out what's your typical schedule. Where are you spending most of your time? And again, for things like your job and things that are just kind of required time allotments, like where it's like, okay, well, I have to be at work from 9 to 5, right? You can't necessarily look at that too much. That's why I said, you know, if you can't necessarily look at the quantity of time, look at the quality of time. But look at your average schedule. Look at your average schedule and then simply compare the two. Does my daily schedule actually reflect my priority list? If family is something that is in my top 1 or 2, why is there no family time in my schedule? If finances are in my or in my top 2, right? If finances are important to me, why am I going out to eat and hang out with people so much? Right? Those are where you're able to really identify areas that you can change your decision making. But it all stems from, and I will beat this down with a hammer. It all stems from creating your priority list. And again, it doesn't take long. It takes like 5 minutes. It takes 5 minutes to really just write this stuff down so that way you can communicate well with not only others, but you can also communicate well with yourself. And as you communicate well with yourself, you will then be able to build the confidence to create the life that you want. If you want more money, you can get more money. If you want more peace, you can get more peace. If you want more friends, you can get more friends. But it's up to you to really just decide what you want. And so I encourage you to do that. I encourage you to create a priority list. I encourage you to get very clear on even the things that are important to you. How do these rank? And then look at your decision making, because don't just talk about it, be about it. Because what you prioritize will determine what you produce, and what you prioritize will reflect itself in your decision making which will ultimately determine how you manage your time. I hope that this was helpful to you. I hope that you got value out of this. If you did, be sure to leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Leave a review if you're listening to me on a podcast platform. But I really appreciate you. Please, if you haven't, check out the Dreamer Symposium. Tickets are available right now. Washington, D.C. is the spot. December 16th is the day. You want to be there if you are looking for an experience to help you goal set, goal plan, and goal execute. There will be amazing people in this room. If you're an entrepreneur listening to me, we're going to have a business mastermind. You want to be there. There's only 10 spots and you got to apply. So go click the link in the description below. I look forward to seeing you there because I'm telling you, you don't want to keep making New Year's resolutions and not seeing any results. So you will put yourself in a room full of people that are looking to elevate and take life to the next level, whether it be personally or professionally. This is the room that you need to be in. So again, I appreciate you. If you didn't already, go check out last episodes. That way you can get prepared for next episode. I'll see you guys next week. Always remember, your dream is possible as long as you are willing to work for it.